Hitting cross-court dinks off the backhand side here this morning. I'm out here, if I'm drilling, I want to make the best use of my drilling time that I can, meaning that I'm going to put in the same effort that I would put in if I was in a game. I'm training myself, my muscle memory, how to be when I hit this ball. If I need to be low, if I need to be moving, trying to put out the same level of effort that I would in a game. If I'm relaxed and casual while I'm drilling, that's how I'm training my body to be in a game. I'm not building up that muscle memory or the strength that I'm going to need when I play. So I'm trying to exert the same amount of effort here as I would while I'm playing. Paddle preparation. If you watch my video on 120 backhand drives, you know that I say start with that paddle up around your shoulder. Trying to do the same thing here, and I go, hey, that feels pretty familiar because I'm used to doing that. If I can get familiar with the shot, I get way more comfortable with it. My accuracy tends to go up. And yes, I don't need that big of a backswing. I'm having and prepping that paddle that high because it's a consistency factor. If I get into a backhand cross-court dinking war with somebody, I want to be as consistent as I can and outlast them. So everything I can do to find that extra little percentage of consistency is a good thing. Start with this paddle up high, swing forward just like you would almost on the backhand drive. Got my paddle horizontal here. Try and put forth the same effort. As I hit this ball, my paddle continues on in the direction that I want that ball to go. If I can continue on with my paddle, my accuracy gets better, my timing gets better, everything stays better. If I try and stop this paddle right after contact, there's no benefit, there's no upside to that, and my targeting and my accuracy is not going to be as good. Try and have that paddle continue on toward that target, whatever it is. Paddle starts up around the shoulder, nice smooth swing. I keep that paddle prepared and ready to go until I'm ready to swing. I'll leave that paddle up where it is. Ball gets there quicker than I thought. I'm ready to swing early. Takes longer to get there. I just hang out in this prepared position. Wait till the ball gets to where I want it before I swing. I have two little soccer nets over there. Those are just there mainly to catch balls, so I don't have to spend so much time picking them up. For other drills, I will actually use those as a target. So for now, if this ball comes back close to this kitchen line, I want to try and hit that target that's closer to that kitchen line on the other side. A ball that is closer to the net, I want to try and send down the net, kind of like that. It's a higher risk shot, so the closer that ball is to the net, the easier it is to pull that shot off. If this ball's back toward the kitchen line, I have not as much room for error, so I need to send this ball to that net that is closer to that kitchen line. I'm trying to get this ball, that was ugly. Trying to get this ball to bounce in front of that net, not actually land in it. But it's a good visual thing to have. When you hit, you always need a target. So to some degree, those are a visual reference for me. All right, hitting backhand cross-court dinks today. Let's talk about the non-paddle hand a little bit. You know, on the forehand side, I highly recommend you get that non-paddle hand out in front of the ball and try and feel where that ball is so you have a good reference point when you make contact with that ball. I can't do that on the backhand side, obviously, and get my non-paddle hand out in front of that ball. What I do instead is put my fingertips on the back of my paddle, not my palm, just the fingertips. That will send my brain 5 signals about where that paddle is in space. So if I don't have my non-paddle hand on the back of that paddle, the only information I have is from this grip on the handle, not nearly as much information. So if I can have my fingertips on the back of that paddle, it tells my brain where that paddle is, should let me hit this ball better. So what I'm trying to do is keep that left hand, my non-paddle hand, on the back of that paddle as long as I can, separate it just before contact, So the longer I can keep that hand on the back of the paddle, the more information my brain has, and that's a good thing. Trying to swing that forward. On the drives, I would get a little bit of shoulder rotation by bringing that non-paddle hand forward with the paddle. Not really looking in too much shoulder rotation for this shot. Just trying to hit it well, get it over there in the kitchen. So using that non-paddle hand then, I believe really helps. Tells my brain where this paddle is. If I can bring that hand forward with the paddle, I know more where that paddle is. That's a good thing. I'm going to breathe a little bit here. Need to exhale every time I hit. Here we go. That exhale should finish about the time that ball bounces across the net. If I can breathe well, I stay relaxed. If I stay relaxed, shots tend to go better. Try and remember to breathe on every shot, not just this one. Every shot you want to be relaxed. Every shot you want to incorporate your breathing. In the gym, they tell you to exhale during the difficult portion. Kind of not the same thing here. More so to stay relaxed than to add power or effort. If you can do that, that'll help. All right, hitting cross-court dinks off the backhand side. One thing you want to do is focus on this ball all the way into your paddle. If you can see that ball right at the moment of contact, your contact's going to be much better. Focus on that ball all the way in. Another thing you want to do is look for the holes in the ball. That will tell you if it's spinning. If your opponent put backspin or topspin and you can see that, then you can anticipate where that ball is going to be. So if they put some backspin on it, what's going to happen is it's going to hit the floor and stop coming toward you. So it's going to be shorter and it's going to pop up higher. It's one reason I'm not a big fan of that. So that may work for beginning players, but a good player will start to read what you're doing, and that will negate any backspin you put on that ball. If there's topspin coming, that ball will come up off the floor lower and it's going to accelerate toward you. Again, a good thing to know. So as I hit these balls, I'm trying to hit them relatively flat, hit straight through the ball from North Pole to South Pole, or south to north, and not put any spin on. If I try and spin this ball, it's much more difficult. Not saying it can't be done, but if I spin this ball, I'm trying to do two things. One is I'm trying to put some horizontal speed on it, so it clears that net. And then I'm also trying to put rotation on the ball, either top spin or back spin or side spin. So because I would be doing two things if I'm trying to spin the ball, it's a more difficult shot just by default. If I can take my paddle and swing straight through the middle of that ball, have my paddle continue on toward that target, it's a much simpler swing. It's not any less effective, and I'm just trying to be consistent. If somebody's trying to get into this dink battle with me, if I can outlast them and be consistent, that's not a bad thing. So as you hit these balls, if you're trying to be fancy and put some top spin or back spin on, what I would say is take a look at, are you getting the reward that you're looking for? Are you fooling your opponent? Are you making life difficult on your opponent? And if not, stop spinning that ball. You're only making life difficult on yourself. Right? Swing straight through that ball, North Pole to South Pole, try and hit through the middle of that ball. Paddle follows that ball toward the target as it leaves. Don't stop that paddle swing after you made contact with that ball. Continue with that paddle on in the direction of where you want that ball to go. Your accuracy will get better and your targeting will get better. Swing all the way through the middle of that ball. Don't stop that paddle prematurely. You'll notice I'm down low. I'm trying to not hit this ball at its apex, at its highest point. I want to hit this ball consistently, meaning if it's always in the same location, meaning if it's roughly always the same height off the floor, again, it starts to feel very familiar and my accuracy should go up. So if I was attacking these balls, I might try and hit them at their high point. That's not really the point of this video though. I'm trying to dink these cross court and not attack any. So I'm trying to let this ball come down to where I want it and not try and hit it at its high point. Now if I have to be lower, obviously, so you can tell I'm moving, trying to get my body lower. So one thing that happens is if this ball is that low, my brain goes, this ball's never gonna get over this net if I don't put some lift on it. So it forces me to focus on lift, forces me to focus on swinging low to high. And so that's where I get my lift. I do not get my lift from the angle of the paddle. I get it from swinging low to high.